Greetings and thank you for tuning into the show. I'm your host, 1911 Dad. Today's topic, how to become a range hero. How do you become a shooting range hero? So what is a range hero? A range hero is someone who goes to the range, they look cool, they know what they're doing, they feel like they know what they're doing. Others can see you know what you're doing. They look at you and go, wow, that guy must shoot a lot. He knows what he's doing. Maybe they want to be like you a little bit. So you look like you belong there and you know what you're doing. So how do you do that? First is be safe. I mean, I go to the range and I see that metal kind of table that you put your gear on. I see bullet holes, or maybe not holes, but indentions where some idiot shot the table where you're supposed to put your gear. I used to shoot at a place that had, the lanes were divided by bulletproof acrylic or glass. I guess it was kind of an acrylic. And I walked in there one day, it shattered. Now, it was all one piece, but the entire thing, it's obvious someone shot the side of the range bay divider, which is why I always get scared a little bit when I go in the range and I see that group that has probably never shot. They're the opposite of a range hero. There's 3 or 4 of them, maybe boys and girls. They're giggling, filming everything. They rented a gun, and I'm just like, man, you do not seem safe. You're waving the gun around. I used to think range safety officers, RSOs, were so annoying. I mean, if you pull your gun out and it's not perfectly pointed down range, or if you leave your gun on the table, the shooting table, and the slide's not locked back, I used to find those guys annoying. I love those guys. I don't want the Instagram heroes, the opposite of a range hero. I don't want the Instagram hero shooting me accidentally while I'm there to have a good time. So a range hero is safe. Good trigger control, doesn't have their finger in the trigger until they're on target, ready to shoot. They're not shooting the divider glass. They're not shooting the table. They're not shooting the ceiling. They're not shooting the range equipment. And they're not more concerned about getting footage on a phone than they are about putting rounds downrange accurately and safely. That's not a shooter, that's a poser, you know, as we used to call from my generation. So you gotta be safe. Keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. Hit the target. Don't shoot the range equipment. Don't shoot any bystanders. A range hero has some safety glasses and ear protection. They're not expensive. Go to Academy, go wherever, Amazon. You can buy hearing protection for $15. Buy some safety glasses. You can rent them, but a range hero has their own equipment. They know you got to have it in. And if you're serious about shooting, it's nice to not just wear earmuffs, but to double up and wear plugs and earmuffs. Not just plugs, not just muffs, but both. And if you want to really look cool, spend a little more, maybe $50, and get some electronic kind of noise canceling muffs. And what's nice about those is you're shooting with a buddy, and instead of screaming, trying to hear each other, they're auto-canceling sound, and then you can kind of talk while you're shooting, but it also keeps your ear safe. So a range hero has their own safety glasses and ear protection. And the other thing, safety-wise, you keep your guns, you come in the range in a bag, you keep them in your bag until you get to the shooting table, then you pull your guns out, which I keep my guns in a case. So I have like a Blackhawk backpack I love Blackhawk, it's strong and it's not cheap, but I think I got my range one secondhand off eBay for cheap. I put my guns in a zipped case, and then they're in my backpack. So when I get to the table, pull out my case, still zipped up, unzip the case, and then make sure when I lift that gun out of the case and put it on the table, it is pointed downrange. I get the slide locked back, and that's also how you stay safe while shooting. You want to make others comfortable, look like you know what you're doing. Your guns are on the shooting table, pointed downrange, with their slides locked back. That way, anyone can see that gun is unloaded and safe. And if you're real cool, you put the magazine either next to it or right below it. But get your range, get a cool range bag, and be organized. And when you take your gun out of your bag, keep it pointed downrange and get that slide locked back. Range Hero, they follow range rules. I'll start with ammo restrictions. Don't show up at the range with your shotgun and you're ready to fire incendiary, or you're going to fire dragon's breath and burn the whole place down. They're not going to be cool with that. Some ranges, they won't let you use green tip. If you've got, more of a penetrating round or special armor piercing, I don't know any indoor range that allows armor piercing. It'll damage their backstop. And again, fire concerns with incendiary and other stuff. So a lot of good ranges, when you show up, they're going to ask, what are you shooting? Don't be the guy that shows up with some ridiculous, incendiary ammo. Another thing with shotguns, know your range. A lot of ranges have different rules. Some will let you shoot bird shot, but a lot will only let you shoot buckshot or slugs if they allow shotguns. But again, follow the rules. Follow the rules on rapid fire. Everyone, especially the Instagram crowd, they want to get out there and look like they're just ripping off rounds. But again, those people don't really know what they're doing. If you know what you're doing and you want to fire fast, a lot of times the range safety officer, he sees your bag. He sees how you handle your guns. He goes, you know what, if they want to fire a little faster, that's a competent person. But don't get out there and just trying to rip off rounds as fast as you can. And if you don't, I'll tell you, this is like a big one. You want to panic a range officer? Try to dual wield. Pick up 2 loaded guns and point them at the target, and the RSO will come running. A lot of good gun ranges, they'll have a camera in every bay. And there's someone in a little room. I helped design some gun ranges. There'll be someone in a little room, and all they do is look at a monitor. And they're watching every bay. And they're on a radio to the RSO. The range safety officer can go, lane 7's about to dual wield. One other thing, if you're new, don't try to draw from a holster. Most indoor ranges, they are not going to let you do that because they're very concerned about you drawing too fast and then shooting yourself in the foot, shooting a bystander. Do not roll in there with your holster and draw. That will panic them, and instead of looking like a hero, you'll look like a fool. Okay, enough of that kind of. Safety is important. Always be safe, follow the rules. But let's talk about becoming a range hero, being cool. You need to have a cool range bag. Put some patches on it. I don't want to say the word flair, but have a couple patches on there. Have something distinctive. Don't show up with a duffel bag, but don't be that guy that's like, he's got his, it's okay the first time, I guess, but like you've got your academy bag, like your plastic bag when you bought ammo and your stuff's falling out and the bag's ripping. Don't be that guy. Get a decent range bag. You can get them anywhere. They're not really expensive. And make sure it's big enough so you actually can hold your guns and find what you're looking for. Have a cool range bag. Like I said, get some patches, make it your own, something cool. Have some cool guns. Now, there's nothing wrong with owning one gun. And a lot of people own a lot of guns and they're not good with their guns. So that's a topic for a different day. But having some cool guns. You have a Glock 17, a Glock 19, fantastic shooting guns, that's great. But you pull out a nickel-plated revolver. You pull out a World War II 1911. You pull out even something, you pull out a Smith & Wesson Model 29 with a longer barrel. Think Dirty Harry. You pull out a Desert Eagle 50 cal. People are going to think that's cool. I mean, those are interesting guns. I mean, guns from something someone would recognize from a movie, like a Desert Eagle. People that have seen The Matrix, they go, "Oh, was that the gun the agents were carrying?" Yeah, it was. So a cool gun is unique or classic. Looks. Some guns are just so beautiful. You go, "Man, I don't even want to shoot it. It's so pretty. It's got some mirror finish on it," and that's okay if your guns aren't the best looking. But unique guns, cool looking guns. Another cool gun is an awesome shooter. Just a gun. I've got a gun I built that, it's just a striker fired plastic gun, but it's got some good parts in it, and the thing shoots like crazy. Anytime I take people shooting, they go, "I love that gun. That is an awesome, cool gun. Man, that thing is a shooter." It's not the most beautiful gun, but it is a shooter. So you want to be cool. Have a gun that's just a great shooter, even if it's not the best. And as we talk about your guns, you want to be a range hero. You want to be cool. Know the manual of arms for your gun. And what I mean is know how to clear a malfunction. Know how to work it. Put in some time before you go to the range. Spend some time, dry fire. I cannot emphasize how important dry fire is. But at least know how to load and unload. And by the way, when you practice this, you need to practice it obviously with dummy rounds or with no ammunition. No live ammunition, but with dummy rounds or empty. But know how to manipulate your gun. Don't be fumbling around. Where's the magazine release? Know the manual of arms for your gun. Know how to load it, unload it. Preferably how to clear a malfunction if you have a problem. Okay, what else can you do to look cool? Get some cool targets. Most well-stocked ranges are going to have a variety of targets. Everyone, what's the standard silhouette target? NRA B27, great target. But there's a lot of cool targets. You can go out. There's websites or Amazon, and there's websites that specialize in this, funtargets.com maybe. But they'll have ones that show the organs or aliens but something that catches the eye and it's just a little different. There's also targets with numbers on them. So if you have a buddy and you're running drills, 247, boom, 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 But you're going to have more fun shooting if you have some cool targets. You're going to look cool. You're going to give any guests a more entertaining experience if you have some cool targets. And it's funny how guys will go rip off 100 rounds of 45, so they spend, $60 in ammo, but they're worried about using more than 2 or 3 targets, and they're $2 each. It's like, man, bullets are expensive. Targets are cheap, so have some cool targets. One other comment on being cool, in terms of infringing on other people there, we've talked about safety. Don't be the dude with a short-barreled AR with a muzzle brake or with a compensator, that when the thing shoots, it's like a cannon. I'm not saying ARs aren't great. I shoot my AR at the range. But shooting that short-barreled AR with a compensator, and it's intimidating other shooters. I mean, for the people that are new, if it's their first time and they're in the bay next to you, that may be their last time because they were so in awe of that sound and the pressure, and it just kind of overwhelms them. So for the new shooter, that AR with the muzzle brake, it's frustrating. It's scary. It's intimidating. For serious shooters that are trying to run drills, run through their sets, it's just a distraction. I'm not saying you should never shoot your short-barreled AR with a muzzle brake at an indoor range, but try to go if it's a bigger range, go at a busier time when they're going to open up the rifle, go where they have a rifle side and a pistol side. Some ranges have a rifle side and a pistol side, but if they're not busy, they put everyone on the pistol side. And now the people there, they've spent, $30 per person on range fees. They've spent 30, 40, 50 bucks on ammo and targets, and you're kind of infringing on. So that is not a range hero. Be a range hero. Leave the short-barreled AR with the muzzle brake at home. Shoot it outside or get on the rifle side. So range heroes are sharebirds. We talked about cool guns. If you have cool guns, let other people shoot them. I mean, let that new shooter experience that gun. I mean, the challenging part of buying guns is you don't get to test drive usually. Sometimes you can rent them. But in general, I think any of us that have been shooting a while know that what feels amazing at the gun counter may not be that great a gun for you. So when someone goes, oh, I'm thinking about buying a 1911, I'm a big 1911 guy. I've got my 1911 sitting there. Hey, man, you want to try this? You want to try this in 45? You want to try this in 9mm? Oh, wow, thanks. And who knows? They may have something cool you want to try. But being a sharebird, letting people, they may want to try your trigger. I was at a range in Baton Rouge the other day, and this guy had a cool trigger on his Glock. Him and I were talking in the lobby, and I said, do you like that trigger? And he says, hey, man, let's go in the range. Let's pull it out. Let's shoot it. And I thought that was just cool. And I got to, to actually experience it. So a range hero, all that stuff is great, but if you really want to be a range hero, you want to get noticed, you need to be a good shot. And don't get me wrong, most defensive encounters are close range encounters. And by close, what do I mean? I don't know the exact statistics. We'll look at that on a different show, but 7 yards or less, 5 yards or less, 3 yards and less, those are all common. So you need to, even if you can't shoot long, work on being a good shot. That means good groupings. That means practice, learn how to use your sights, how to pull a trigger, how to grip properly, learn the fundamentals, and learn to have a group. Shooting it's a skill that takes time to learn, like a lot of things, but you do not have to be some raw dog athlete. I absolutely am not that. I would not say I'm particularly well coordinated. But it's repetition and practice and technique. You want to look cool, be a good shot. I think it's awesome that people come to the range and they're not good shots. Fantastic. This isn't a match. This is the time to practice. That's awesome. But if you know what you're doing and you have some groupings, people are going to notice. Now, one thing I like to do, and I think always looks cool, a lot of indoor ranges are 25 yards. That's their max distance, 75 feet. I routinely shoot at 25 yards. And it looks cool. That's not why I'm doing it. But it looks cool because people are like, whoa, what is he shooting, a rifle? And it's like, no. I like to practice at 25 yards. And 25 yards when you first start shooting seems so far. But if you can master the fundamentals, and we're going to talk about that in a different episode, but once you master some of the fundamentals, it really isn't that different shooting at 25 yards versus shooting at 5 yards or 7 yards. And why it's practical, it's not just cool, but why it's practical is mistakes in fundamentals that you're making at 5 yards, at 7 yards, but that aren't obvious because your groupings are still pretty tight. At 25 yards, you start to see that. You go, oh, I think I'm anticipating a little. Or maybe I'm not quite pulling the trigger back perfectly straight. Or maybe my eyes aren't focused on the front sight. They're focused on the target. But these weaknesses, when you go, I'm kind of plateaued, I'm not improving at 5 yards or 7 yards, Go ahead and get that target out to 10, 12, 15, 20, 25. Then you start to see it magnifies the mistakes you're making. So do 25-yard shots with a pistol look cool? Absolutely. But they serve a practical purpose. And if you can have good groupings at 25 yards with a pistol, you're a pretty good shot, especially with irons. But even with red dot, you are a good shot. And those kind of shots, they absolutely get noticed and make you look like a range hero. If you found today's show entertaining, please like and subscribe, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks for listening.